Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, Patreon, and anything else. Usually, I go about is on Twitter X. Later today, we'll have Death Stranding episode. Um, Again, I'm having a blast playing that game. Um, I'm not sure if I can ramp up to 3 episodes per week. Maybe I will. I'm not sure yet for next week. I have to see how far I am on the series there. But yeah, I'm still trying to decide that. Other than that, again, we have the completed gameplay series. 4K, the recent ones, 1080p, the more older ones. In terms of gameplay demos, it's been difficult to find some time to do that. One of the reasons is the fact that I'm playing Death Stranding again. I'm making episodes of around about 2 hours or so. Again, it's kind of a journaling experience going for that game. I try not to edit basically anything from that, except for when I save or when I have to interrupt for whatever reason. Other than that, yeah, it's one of the reasons that at this moment, I'm a little bit paused the gameplay demos. But again, when I have time to do so, I will resume playing demos to see if it's worth at least the wish list position there. So let's go for some gaming news. Interesting enough, I saw this throughout this week. Supposedly, Warner Brothers, or I think Discovery, which is the the higher up from Warner Brothers, seemingly they are going to maybe starting next year to split Warner Brothers in at least two companies. It seems supposedly one of them is WBD, so Global Networks, which basically will handle traditional cable programs, so TV stuff there with sports, news, and entertainment. And then the second one, WBD Streaming and Studios, which basically it's about the streaming service, so HBO, I don't know, HBO Max and all that jazz, plus TV series, which again I will assume part of that production budget will go for HBO and all that jazz, and movie production, along with companies, gaming division, and assets. That's the point that it's interesting as here for the this article. And there are rumors circulating that Sony is eyeing or trying to see if there is a possibility of acquisition, the second entity, which again, it has the gaming division and assets. I think that's the most interesting part for them, I assume. But again, Sony, it always has its own streaming stuff there and series, animation, and all that jazz that they own, which might be in a handful for them to maybe get along and get mainly DIPs that are associated with Warner Brothers, which are basically DC Universe, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, and Mortal Kombat, and plus other stuff there. Um, Again, this I don't like this kind of consolidation of IPs in a couple of companies. Again, I don't like monopolies in any kind of industry. I think it doesn't breed competition. It starts reflecting some complacency and even deteriorating quality of the content itself, given if it is games, movie series, whatever it is, because there is no competition, so you don't need to strive to be better than your competitor, and especially if when you have something like just two big entities like Microsoft and Sony competing between each other. Again, there is kind of no big benchmark in terms of quality, except for maybe I don't know indie developers or independent companies that, to a certain degree, might want to be doing good for them to be acquired. There is also that dance there. But yeah, I don't like the fact that probably Sony is hiring this second entity from Warner Brothers to be acquired by them. Um, Again, it's like I said, I like competition on the market, whatever the market is. That's why I think that Intel should continue to do their GPU stuff there, in terms of improving and launching more GPUs competitive there. So we have better competition, mainly because NVIDIA is just, I don't know what the fuck they are doing there. But yeah, this is why I like this competition thing there. Um, again, they continue here with the article saying that this is kind of a leaked or rumored information. Of course, Sony is only interested if Warner Brothers split into entities. I think the part of the television stuff and broadcast it doesn't fit too much the portfolio that Sony wants to have. That's why they are eyeing to see how that split in companies go. For certain, they are restructuring Warner Brothers, but again, exactly in terms of finalizing that split and see how it fits there until we get something concrete. I think Sony will not officially do anything or announce anything there. Again, this is to a certain degree insider information. But yeah, at this moment they are again they need to restructure because of especially on the gaming side of things, colossal failures like Kill the Justice League, Gotham Knights, Multiverses. Kill the Justice League is the Suicide Squad game there. And even the cancellation of the Wonder Woman game that was being made by Monolith Studio there. Again, it was already a failure before it even started. Again, the premise of trying to use the Nemesis system that they patented there could be something interesting, maybe. But yeah, it seemed that they were in production hell to a certain degree. Again, DI mandates and all that jazz, they seem to be not qualified persons to work on the game because I think they were stuck on production. They were not advancing. But yeah, the only thing, um, again, that might come good out of this is maybe cleansing the fat, trim the fat of the structure of the companies there, and maybe try to I don't know, hopefully agilize the production budgets to lower down them, have more agile teams that can output better and more games. Because again, the last that I can remember top of my head, the last Warner Brothers win was Harry Potter, the Harry Potter game. The Game of Thrones, there was a game, King's Road or whatever it is. I'm not sure how that game is going. Again, I think it's like a free to play game. At least that's my understanding. I don't follow up too much there. And even Mortal Kombat is being neutered to a certain extent. It doesn't seem to be the Mortal Kombat from years past. Yeah, they need. I just hope that the people that are in senior position, middle management, and all that jazz, they don't fail upwards, which it's what usually we see in this kind of restructuring. Usually, people that fail upwards, they just lick the boots of the higher ups to get promoted, and usually that tends to fail in the long term. But yeah, this is what I got here. We got the probable Sony acquisition of certain IPs or all the IPs, at least in terms of gaming, and probably some streaming assets there from Warner Brothers after they will split that into companies. We'll have to wait and see how that will go. Basically next year, I think that's the intended date for the to Discovery to split that into companies. Then on the hardware stuff here, again, the I to a certain degree, I applaud the efforts that the hardware companies are doing to, I don't know, try to fix the 12-volt power system there or ecosystem of delivering power to GPUs. This latest one, ASUS Pro WS 3000 watts, supposedly can support four 5090s cards at once. So we got four times the probability of those cards burning. Again, supposedly it will also support the RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell GPUs, again, more for AI inference workloads. Um, the main thing that they are announcing here for this specific 12-volt power pin cables is now we got a purple thing instead of the yellow from MSI, and supposedly they are gold-plated pins, and hopefully also the connectors there. Again, supposedly, and not supposedly, gold is way better conducting than copper and even, I don't know, any kind of metal. Usually, gold is the gold standard per se of in terms of electrical conductivity. Um, uh, it might have some effect here in reducing the possibility of having more resistance in the connections themselves, and with that, with less resistance on that connectivity, less higher temperatures possibly. But then again, as been saying, I think this 12-volt power pin framework system, whatever you want to call it, is it has a flawed design there, and I think one of the reasons is the fact that the physical size of the connections and the pins themselves is too small for what it intends to do, which is deliver up to 600 watts of power for these cables. It doesn't have a higher of a tolerance for example, from the other PCI Express connections, the PCI 8 pins and the 6 pins, and even ATX 24 pins motherboard power delivery there. Um, uh, as you can see, even here, you can see that how small it is. So less, again, it's basic principles of electricity. Again, a smaller surface of connectivity. It creates more resistance when you try to pass through more power of electricity, let's say. Yeah, again, with the gold plating, it might, I don't know, reduce the probability of getting the connectors burned. But yeah, the fact that you need to go through all of these shenanigans with the colored connectors, and then put gold coating on the connections themselves. Again, I think it is a commendable effort, but it's not going to solve the inherent architectural problems of the connection stuff itself. I think one of the things that can really mitigate this situation is, as I've been saying, it's the kind of the same solution that you had with the 3090 Ti. Was the first GPU that started using this kind of connectors, and in the GPU itself, they have kind of a power modulator, which is trying to stabilize the current in all 6 cables that deliver the power to the GPU. And we never saw, and even though it was a very demanding, a hungry powered GPU, the 3090 Ti, we never saw any issues with that. Because I think one of the reasons was the fact that, again, there was that module on the GPU that was balancing the power needs for the GPU, so it doesn't overstretch and just put like 1 or 2 cables and maximum load in terms of amperage, which then it starts ramping up temperatures and melting stuff there. They NVIDIA left or quick that introducing that power module on the 40 and 50 series, which the fact that those GPUs, especially 5090s, 4090s, and to a certain degree 5080s and certain 4080s, I think it serves better if they have this kind of power modulating power management there. Yeah, again, I will hammer this head until until I see some decent modifications on this 12-volt power pin stuff there. In gaming, again, it's been a while since it came out, but finally I managed to check the Liza P Overture review. Again, this is from Fextralife. Usually they are quite balanced on their reviews. They try to be as objective as possible. But yeah, it seems a pretty good one at the same quality of the main game itself. Again, the score is basically the same for different reasons. Again, depending on the story and setting, gameplay, design, audiovisual performance, length, replayability, and multiplayer, then the price point there. Again, basically, the shortest summary of the thoughts of the person that did the review here is that the DLC is very much a lore DLC. The story you get from the foundations built in the base game absolutely pay off, and though it is slightly short, it still managed to deliver an exceptional story and tightly wrapped DLC. Again, it seems to be at least at the same quality level that the main game, which is always good, even though it seems it could, again, it's a little bit shorter than people were expecting. That's my perception of this DLC. But yeah, again, when it is on sale, I usually try to highlight this game as best as I can there. But yeah, here we go with the DLC Liza P review. Then we got the teaser trailer for, sorry, I'm going to butcher this, Tsarevna, which is a dark fantasy third-person action game inspired by Slavic folklore. Very interesting what they're trying to do here. It's, again, the key features, they are basically demonstrated on the trailer itself. Supposedly, it's the first ballet-inspired slasher game, blending folklore and fine art. There's supposedly magic and fluid melee combat with parries, combos, and movement-based spells, which is interesting. A dark fantasy world inspired by Slavic mythology and pagan legend. And then supposedly there was stunning motion capture animation by a professional prima ballerina, so the tip top or creme of the crop ballerina stuff there. And then supposedly atmospheric storytelling across cursed village, ruined temples in the Vine realms, and again got optional boss battles there. Interesting, the teaser there. It's one of those that I like to see more. Of course, trying to do something unique, which is always good to see. And then lastly, we got again another Capcom Spotlight. Is set for 26th of June, and supposedly they're going to delve a little bit more on not only Monster Hunter Wilds, the new update that they did there, the second title update, if not mistaken. And then they will feature a little bit more of Resident Evil Requiem. I'm not sure if we're going to get a little bit more setup to try and see how it is connected with other Resident Evil games. Hopefully, more gameplay from Pragmata, and then Monster Hunter Wilds and Street Fighter 6. Again, it's not a game for me. I usually don't like this kind of fighting games. It's not really for me. So I will be paying attention for sure for Resident Evil Requiem and Pragmata 2 for this one, and try to see what these 40 minutes of updates will bring new to the table there. But yeah, in terms of news, this is what I got. Let's go for some gaming deals. We still have Bionic Bay, 20% off. Recent launch, again, platformer puzzler, manipulation of teleportation, gravity, a lot of stuff here that is very interesting on this puzzling game. Then you got also Children of Morta still on sale, 80% off. Very interesting game. Very positive feedback from everybody. It's kind of a isometric pixel art style roguelike. Got Dave the Diver. Everybody kind of knows this game. It's sold very well. Overall, at least very positive feedback. Some content crossovers, and it's 40% off. Got Dredge, Lovecraftian setting there with a fishing. You're a fisherman fishing weird creatures, and yeah, the story seems the most interesting stuff there. It is 50% off. We got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's on sale, 20% off. Again, if you like this kind of medieval simulation thing here, I think this game might be for you. We got Midnight Suns still on sale. I do recommend this one. I made a series on it, claimed for free on Epic Game Store a long time ago. 80% off on the Legendary Edition, which has the DLC character stories and decks. Again, same guys that brought XCOM 2, the same team. This is basically the same thing, but with deck building mechanics here. I did enjoy very much the game. If you have to, if you want to check how this game might look, check the first couple episodes that I did on this series to have a better idea how this game looks. Then we got Miasma Chronicles, the same guys that brought Mutant Year Zero to Eden, 60% off. Again, different setting, kind of similar mechanics and more refined, it seems, from the reviews that we saw when the game came out. Again, positive feedback from the players. We got Nobody Wants to Die, detective game. Again, 60% off. I think it's a good deal. I'm not sure if it is like I think this is kind of a shorter game to a certain degree, but the way they go about it on the detective side of things seems very interesting. Very it brings a little bit of Blade Runner kind of aesthetics there, retro sci-fi punk there. Yeah, seems interesting. Got also Pacific Drive Deluxe Edition is 50% off. Again, it's one of those that seem to be very addicting in terms of how you go about doing the expedition stuff there. We got Still Wakes the Deep, a relatively recent game from last year. A kind of a escape game from horror. I think you don't fight anything, and they got a new expansion out, which is the Sirens, whatever it is, Sirens Rest. And at this moment, the base game is 50% off, and then we got the complete edition with the DLC there. Um, Callisto Protocol, again, a little bit mixed back here from players. I did manage to claim this game for free on Epic Game Store a while ago. Did a gaming series on this one. And from my perception and from what I played the entire game again. I can recommend this at this price point. Again, $8 or $9. I think it's a good experience for that price point. It's not very long. It's not a very long game, and it definitely it's not Dead Space. I think that's why this game had a little bit of mixed reception, not only from the performance side of things, which is improved a lot since the game was launched, but it's more about people having kind of the perception that this game was basically a spiritual shoot off of Dead Space, which is not. The combat system is a little bit more different than Dead Space, but it's kind of the horror game nevertheless, and it's interesting enough, at least at this price point. Then you got to finalize here the Invincible. Again, this one I'm very curious to try it out one of these days. Very positive feedback. First person, kind of very story heavy, based on the book of Stanislav Lou, so kind of a hard fight game there. I think this is on Mars, if not mistaken. But yeah, it's one of those that it's been having a very positive feedback since he came out here. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up here with a plug on my Patreon for extra support. This extra support is more aligned for me to get around getting better storage solutions so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a full day. I will see you in the next one. So till then, Kunamy Master out.